Marcus Chen was having a very normal Tuesday. He woke up late, burned his toast, and spilled coffee on his shirt. He worked as an accountant in Milwaukee, which meant he spent most of his day looking at numbers on a computer screen. It was not exciting work, but it paid the bills. That evening, Marcus sat on his old couch and scrolled through his phone. He was 32 years old, single, and honestly, a little lonely. His last relationship had ended 8 months ago. His friends kept telling him to try dating apps, but Marcus always felt strange about them. How could a computer program know who he would like? But tonight, he felt different. Maybe it was the loneliness. Maybe it was the bad day. Whatever the reason, Marcus decided to download a dating app. He went to the App Store and searched for dating apps. There were many choices, but one app caught his eye. It was called Cosmic Connect. The icon showed 2 hearts surrounded by stars. The description said it used the most advanced matching system in the universe. It promised to find your perfect match across all dimensions. Marcus laughed at the silly description. Some programmer had a sense of humor. He downloaded the app anyway. It was free, so why not? The app opened with strange symbols that Marcus did not recognize. They looked like no language he had ever seen. But then everything changed to English, and he could read it fine. He created his profile, uploaded a photo, and answered some questions about his personality. Then he started looking at other profiles. Something felt wrong immediately. The people in the photos looked too perfect. Their skin was too smooth. Their smiles were too symmetrical. Their eyes seemed to glow in ways that normal eyes did not glow. Marcus thought maybe these were fake profiles or very edited photos. He kept scrolling anyway. Then a notification popped up on his screen. It was bright gold and made his phone vibrate 3 times. The notification said, 99%. Match found. Marcus had never seen a match that high. Most apps showed matches around 60 or 70%. 99% seemed impossible. He clicked on the notification. The profile that appeared made Marcus laugh out loud. The profile picture showed a cat, but not a normal cat. This was a huge gray cat wearing military clothes. The cat had medals on its chest and a red cape flowing behind it. Its golden eyes stared directly at the camera with an intense expression. The name on the profile was Admiral Wiskirian IV, Supreme Commander of the Felixian Armada. Marcus kept laughing. This had to be a joke. Someone was pretending to be a space cat admiral on a dating app. It was probably some person who liked science fiction and wanted to have fun. Marcus had seen stranger things on the internet. He looked at the profile description. It said, seeking compatible mate for dynasty establishment. Must appreciate conquest, strategic thinking, and quality prey. No dogs. Marcus found this very funny. Whoever made this profile had committed to the joke completely. He decided to play along. What was the harm? He opened the chat and typed a simple message. Hi. That he pressed send and put his phone down. He expected nothing to happen. Maybe the person behind the joke account would respond tomorrow with more silly cat Admiral roleplay. But exactly 2 seconds later, his entire apartment shook. Marcus grabbed the arm of his couch. Was this an earthquake? Milwaukee did not get earthquakes. The shaking continued, and he heard a deep humming sound coming from outside. It sounded like 1,000 engines running at once. He ran to his window and looked up at the sky. What he saw made his heart stop. A spaceship was coming down through the clouds. But calling it a spaceship felt wrong. It was more like a flying city. The thing was bigger than any building Marcus had ever seen. It blocked out the stars as it descended. The hull of the ship was dark metal, but it was decorated with glowing patterns. And those patterns looked like cat faces. Marcus could not move. He could not think. He just stood there with his mouth open, watching the impossible happen right above his apartment building. His phone buzzed in his hand. He looked down at it with shaking fingers. The message was from Admiral Wiskirian IV. It said, "Location confirmed. Remain stationary. Potential mate. I am en route. Marcus, read the message 5 times. His brain refused to accept what was happening. This could not be real. Aliens were not real. Space cats with military ranks were definitely not real. He must be dreaming. He must be having some kind of mental breakdown. But the ship kept getting closer. He could see smaller ships leaving the big one now. They looked like metal triangles, and they were flying straight toward his neighborhood. Marcus thought about running. But where would he go? How do you run from something that big? How do you hide from a spaceship that found you in 2 seconds? The news on his phone was already exploding. Everyone was posting videos of the ship. The military was scrambling jets. People were screaming in the streets below his window. Marcus sat back down on his couch. His legs did not work anymore. He held his phone and stared at the dating app that had somehow ended the world as he knew it. He thought about his message. Just one word. Hi. That single word had brought aliens to Earth. That tiny greeting had told some space cat exactly where he lived. The humming sound got louder. Bright light filled his apartment as one of the smaller ships stopped right outside his window. Marcus could see figures moving inside it. Tall figures. Figures with pointed ears and tails. His phone buzzed again. Another message from the Admiral. I have crossed 17 star systems to find a 99% match. You said hello. Now I say hello back. Open your door. 3 loud knocks came from his front door. Marcus Chun, accountant from Milwaukee, allergic to cats, hater of dating apps, took a deep breath. He stood up on his shaking legs. He walked to the door. He opened it, and there stood the future of human-alien relations, wearing a cape and looking very impatient. The creature standing in Marcus's doorway was 7 feet tall. She had gray fur covering her entire body. Her face looked like a cat, but her body stood upright like a human. She wore armor that shone like polished silver, and metals covered her chest. Her cape was deep red and touched the floor behind her. Her golden eyes looked at Marcus from head to toe. She did not seem impressed. Behind her stood 6 more cat creatures. They were soldiers, Marcus guessed. They wore matching black armor and carried weapons that glowed with blue light. They stood perfectly still, watching everything. The Admiral spoke first. Her voice was deep and commanding, like a general giving orders to an army. You are smaller than your profile indicated, she said, and you lack proper fur. Your ears are wrong. Your teeth are dull. Still, the algorithm does not make errors. A 99% match has not occurred in 3,000 cycles. Marcus tried to speak. His throat was dry. His brain was still trying to accept that cat people from space were real and standing in his hallway. I think there has been a mistake. He finally managed to say. The Admiral's ears went flat against her head. This seemed like a bad sign. The algorithm is never wrong, she said firmly. It has matched compatible mates across 47 star systems. It has created dynasties that span galaxies. It does not make mistakes. She walked into his apartment without asking permission. Her soldiers followed. They spread out through his small living room, examining everything. One of them poked at his television. Another sniffed his couch. Marcus closed his door because he did not know what else to do. His neighbors were probably watching through their peepholes. He would have a lot of explaining to do later, assuming he survived this. The Admiral picked up a framed photo from a shelf. It showed Marcus with his mother at his college graduation. Who is this female? She demanded. A rival mate? That is my mother, Marcus said quickly. The Admiral relaxed slightly. Acceptable. Mothers are important. I approve of your loyalty to your birth giver. She set the photo down and turned to face him fully. Her tail swished back and forth, which Marcus thought might mean she was thinking. "I am Admiral Whiskerian IV," she announced. "Supreme Commander of the Phylixian Armada, Conqueror of 12 worlds, daughter of the Eternal Hunt. I have chosen you as my potential mate." Marcus blinked several times. "Why me? I am nobody. I am an accountant. I add numbers together for a living." The Admiral tilted her head. "The algorithm chose you. That is enough reason. But I will explain, since you seem confused." She gestured to one of her soldiers. The soldier pressed a button on its wrist, and suddenly a hologram appeared in the middle of the living room. It showed a map of the galaxy with hundreds of glowing dots. "The Phylixian Empire spans 47 star systems," the Admiral said proudly. "We are the greatest hunters in the known universe. We have conquered species that breathe fire. We have defeated enemies made of pure energy. Nothing can stand against us in battle." Marcus looked at the map. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. "We discovered your planet 50 of your years ago," the Admiral continued. "We intercepted your electromagnetic signals, your television broadcasts, your radio waves, and we found something very interesting." She waved her hand and the hologram changed. Now it showed images from Earth, but not war footage or political speeches. It showed cats, house cats, Earth cats, millions of images of cats playing, sleeping, and doing silly things. "Your species worships our lesser cousins," the Admiral said. Her voice had become softer. "You keep them in your homes. You feed them. You create endless images of them and share these images with each other." This fascinated us. Marcus remembered all the cat videos he had watched online. He had never thought aliens might be watching too. "We studied your species closely," the Admiral went on. "When you invented these matching programs, these dating applications, we saw an opportunity. Our scientists hacked into every matching system on your planet. We modified the algorithms to search for mates compatible with Phylixian biology and psychology." She stepped closer to Marcus. He could smell her now. She smelled like cinnamon and something metallic, like clean steel. "In 50 years of searching, we found many partial matches. 60%, 70%, sometimes 80%. But 99%? She made it sound like a purr. "That has never happened. You are unique, Marcus Chen." "But I am allergic to cats," Marcus said weakly. The Admiral laughed. It was a strange sound, like a bark mixed with a meow. "Our doctors can fix such things. Allergies are nothing. What matters is the deeper compatibility. The algorithm measures personality, values, mental patterns. It sees who you truly are inside. And inside, you are a match for me." Marcus felt dizzy. This was too much information. Space empires, hacked dating apps, a cat admiral who wanted to marry him. "You will accompany me to my flagship," the Admiral declared. "There we will complete the compatibility assessment. If all goes well, we will begin the courtship rituals." "And if I say no?" Marcus asked. The Admiral's eyes narrowed. Her claws extended slightly from her fingertips. Behind her, the soldiers shifted their weapons. "I have traveled 17 star systems to find you," she said quietly. "I have waited 3,000 cycles for a true match. I do not handle disappointment well, Marcus Chen. I suggest you do not disappoint me." She extended her hand toward him. Her claws were sharp and gleaming. "Come with me. See my ship. Learn about my people. The algorithm has brought us together. Let us discover why." Marcus looked at her hand. He looked at the soldiers and their glowing weapons. He looked out his window at the massive ship blocking the stars. He did not really have a choice. But somewhere deep inside, a small part of him was curious. Why him? What made a boring accountant from Milwaukee a perfect match for a space cat admiral? He took her hand. Her fur was soft, and her grip was strong. "Good," Admiral Whiskerian said with a smile that showed all her sharp teeth. "Let us begin." The inside of the Phylixian flagship was bigger than Marcus had imagined. The hallways were wide enough for 10 people to walk side by side. The ceilings were high, decorated with murals of hunting scenes and great battles. Everything was made of dark metal and glowing crystals. Thousands of Phylixian soldiers moved through the corridors. They all stopped and bowed when Admiral Whiskerian walked past. Some of them stared at Marcus with confusion. He was the only human on the entire ship, and he felt very small. The Admiral brought him to a large dining room. The table was long enough to seat 50 people, but only 2 places were set. Servants in simple clothes brought plates of food that Marcus did not recognize. Some of it looked like meat. Some of it looked like glowing fruit. All of it smelled strange. "Eat," the Admiral commanded, sitting at the head of the table. "You need strength for the assessment." Marcus sat down carefully. He picked up something that looked like a purple vegetable and took a small bite. It tasted sweet and sour at the same time. Not bad, actually. The Admiral watched him eat. She seemed to be studying every movement he made. "Tell me about yourself, Marcus-chan," she said after a long silence. "What do you do when you are not working with numbers?" Marcus thought about his life. It seemed so boring compared to conquering star systems. "I watch movies," he said. "I read books. I spend time with friends. Sometimes I cook dinner for myself. Normal things." The Admiral frowned. "No hunting? No combat training? No displays of dominance over rivals?" "Humans do not really do those things," Marcus explained. "Well, some humans do sports. That is a kind of competition. But mostly we just try to have peaceful lives." The Admiral made a sound of confusion. "How do you choose mates without combat? How do you prove your worth?" "We talk to each other," Marcus said. "We spend time together. We learn about each other's personalities. We see if we enjoy being around each other. Just talking?" The Admiral seemed genuinely shocked by this. "No fights? No demonstrations of strength?" "Sometimes we give each other gifts," Marcus added. "Flowers, chocolate, nice dinners." The Admiral leaned back in her chair. Her tail was twitching fast, which Marcus was starting to understand meant she was processing new information. "Your species is very strange," she finally said. "We Phylixians prove our worth through action. We hunt the greatest prey. We win the hardest battles. We bring trophies to show our value." "That sounds exhausting," Marcus said honestly. The Admiral stared at him. Then she laughed at strange barking meow sound. "You are funny," she said. "I did not expect that. The algorithm did not mention you would be funny." They continued eating in silence for a while. Marcus found that most of the food was actually quite good. The Phylixians knew how to cook, even if their ingredients were alien. "What would you normally do on a first meeting with a potential mate?" the Admiral asked suddenly. Marcus thought about this. "Usually we go somewhere nice. A restaurant. A park. Maybe we watch a movie together." "What is a movie?" Marcus was surprised. "You do not have movies?" "They are like stories, but shown on a screen with moving pictures and sound. Actors pretend to be characters and act out the story." The Admiral's ears perked up. "Show me." Marcus still had his phone in his pocket. The Phylixians had not taken it from him. He pulled it out and searched through his streaming apps. He still had service somehow. Maybe the ship was boosting signals. He chose a romantic comedy. It was a simple story about 2 people who hated each other at first, but slowly fell in love. He had seen it many times. His ex-girlfriend had loved it. The Admiral moved her chair closer to his. She watched the small screen with intense focus. Her soldiers stood guard around the room, but they too seemed curious about what was happening on the phone. For 2 hours, Marcus sat next to the Supreme Commander of the Phylixian Armada and watched a romantic comedy. The Admiral asked questions constantly. Why does she pretend to not like him? It is obvious she likes him. That is part of the story. They are both scared of their feelings. She should just tell him. Direct communication is superior. Humans are complicated. Why is he running through the airport? That seems inefficient. He's trying to stop her from leaving. He wants to tell her he loves her. Why did he not say this earlier? He wasted much time. That is the point. He learned his lesson. Now he is making a grand gesture. The Admiral was silent during the final scene, when the two main characters finally admitted their love. When the credits started rolling, Marcus heard a strange sound. He looked at the Admiral. She was crying. Tears were running down her furry cheeks. She wiped at them with embarrassment. This is a powerful story, she said quietly. He should have attacked the security guards at the airport. But instead he used words. He showed his heart openly. This is acceptable. Marcus did not know what to say. He had just made a Space Cat Admiral cry with a romantic comedy. Do you have more of these stories? She asked. Thousands of them. Her eyes went wide. Thousands? Your species creates thousands of love stories? Millions probably. Humans love stories about love, and about adventure, and about fighting against impossible odds. We tell stories about everything. The Admiral stood up from her chair. She walked to the window that showed Earth floating in space below them. Her reflection looked thoughtful. We Phylixians conquered many species, she said slowly. Some were stronger than us. Some were smarter. But we always won because we fought harder. We never gave up. We never showed weakness. She turned back to Marcus. But your species. You fight with stories. You convince each other with feelings. You connect through shared experiences of made-up events. She shook her head in amazement. The algorithm chose well. You are very different from us, Marcus Chen, and I think that is why we match. She walked back to him and held out her hand again. Show me more. Show me how humans connect. I want to understand this power you have. Marcus took her hand. Her claws were retracted now. Her grip was gentle. He had a feeling that this strange first date was going to change everything. While Marcus was teaching Admiral Whiskerian about romantic comedies, Earth was preparing for war. Every military on the planet had mobilized within 6 hours of the ship's appearance. Fighter jets circled the massive vessel constantly. Satellites watched its every movement. Nuclear submarines moved into position across the world's oceans. Every country that had weapons pointed them at the sky. The United Nations held an emergency meeting. World leaders argued about what to do. Some wanted to attack. Some wanted to negotiate. Some wanted to surrender. Nobody agreed on anything. But then something changed. The story of Marcus Chung leaked onto the internet. Someone had recorded the Admiral's soldiers entering his apartment building. Someone else had found his dating profile on Cosmic Connect. Within hours, the whole world knew the truth. An alien admiral had traveled across the galaxy because a dating app said she was a 99% match with some accountant from Milwaukee. Humanity had a strange reaction to this. News. They got angry. Not at Marcus. Not at the strange situation. They got angry that aliens had taken one of their own for a date without asking permission. Social media exploded with posts. People shared Marcus's photo and called him their brother, their friend, their fellow human. They made jokes about bad dating app experiences. They made memes about space cats. But underneath all the humor was a real message. You do not just take our people. The governments of the world receive millions of messages from their citizens. The message was clear. Get him back. The President of the United States made a phone call to the leaders of Russia, China, and every other major nation. For the first time in history, they all agreed on something. They would work together. They would speak with one voice. A broadcast was prepared. On the Phylixian flagship, Admiral Wiskirian was in the middle of her 5th movie when her communication officer rushed into the room. The officer looked terrified. Admiral, the humans are sending a message. All of them. Together. The Admiral paused the movie. She had been enjoying a story about a robot who learned to feel emotions. It had made her cry 3 times already. Put it on the main screen, she ordered. The large view screen on the wall lit up. It showed a room filled with humans in fancy clothes. These were the leaders of Earth, standing together in a row. Behind them was a wall of flags from every nation. One human stepped forward. She was older, with gray hair and hard eyes. She was the Secretary General of the United Nations. "Attention, Phylixian vessel," the woman said. "We are the United Governments of Earth. We have a message for you." Admiral Wiskirian's ears stood up straight. This was unexpected. Her intelligence report said humans never agreed on anything. "You have taken one of our citizens without permission," the Secretary General continued. "Marcus Chun is a human being. He has rights. He has family. He has friends. He belongs to us, and we want him back." The Admiral felt her fur rise. Was this a challenge? Were these primitive creatures threatening her? "To show you we are serious, we offer a demonstration." The screen split into multiple views. Each view showed something happening somewhere on Earth. Missiles launching from silos. Submarines rising from the ocean. Jets flying in perfect formation. Every weapon humanity possessed was active and pointed at the Phylixian fleet. "Our weapons may seem small to you," the Secretary General said, "but we have many of them, and we are not afraid to use them. We have fought each other for thousands of years. We know how to make war. We know how to hurt things that try to hurt us." Marcus watched this from beside the Admiral. His heart was pounding. His planet was threatening an alien empire for him. For one ordinary accountant. "But that is not all," the Secretary General continued. Her voice became colder. "We have also prepared something special." The screen changed again. Now it showed computer rooms filled with humans typing frantically. These were hackers from every country, all working together. "We have accessed your ship systems," the Secretary General announced. "We have uploaded something to every screen on your vessel." All around the flagship, screens began to change. The tactical displays disappeared. The navigation charts vanished. The weapon systems went dark. In their place, new images appeared: cats, earth cats, house cats, kittens. Millions of pictures and videos of cats doing silly things. Cats falling off furniture. Cats chasing laser pointers. Cats wearing tiny hats. Cats sleeping in ridiculous positions. The effect on the Phylixian crew was immediate and devastating. Soldiers stopped in the hallways, staring at screens. Officers abandoned their posts to watch videos of kittens playing with yarn. Some crew members laughed uncontrollably. Others wept with joy. One engineer fell to her knees and made sounds of worship. The ship's weapons went offline. Navigation stopped. The mighty flagship was paralyzed by pictures of fluffy earth cats. Admiral Wiskirian watched all this happen with shock. Her ears were flat against her head. Her tail had stopped moving completely. "This is psychological warfare," she hissed. "You use our sacred images against us. You use our own hearts as weapons." "We use whatever works," the Secretary General replied simply. "Now, about Marcus Chun." The Admiral looked at Marcus. He stood there awkwardly, looking embarrassed by all of this. "Your species would fight our entire empire," she said slowly. "You would risk destruction. You would unite your entire world. All for one man. One ordinary man who adds numbers together. Every single time," Marcus said quietly. "That is what humans do. We fight for each other. Even when it seems hopeless. Even when it seems stupid. We never abandon our people." Something changed in the Admiral's golden eyes. It was not fear. Phylixians did not feel fear. It was something else, Dodd. It was respect. "The algorithm chose well," she murmured. "Better than I knew." She stood up and faced the screen. "Humans of Earth," she announced. "I hear your message. I understand your meaning. Marcus Chen will be returned to you safely. But I request permission for continued communication. Your species has much to teach us." The Secretary General looked surprised. "You are not going to attack? You are not going to conquer us?" Admiral Wiskirian looked at Marcus one more time. She thought about romantic comedies and emotional robots and a species that told millions of love stories. "Some things are more valuable than conquest," she said. "I believe we have much to discuss. But first, please remove these cat images from our systems. My crew cannot function." For the first time, the Secretary General smiled. "We will consider your request, Admiral. Welcome to Earth. Let's talk." The negotiations took 3 months. It was the most important moment in human history, and Marcus Chen was at the center of all of it. He did not understand why. He was still just an accountant. He still burned his toast most mornings. He still forgot to do his laundry until he ran out of clean socks. But somehow, the alien Admiral and the governments of Earth both wanted him in the room during every meeting. The Admiral said it was because the algorithm had chosen him. If he was 99% compatible with a Phylixian, he could help both sides understand each other. The human leaders said it was because he had already built a relationship with the aliens. He knew how to talk to them. Marcus thought it was because the universe had a strange sense of humor. The treaty that emerged was unlike anything in history. The Phylixian Empire would not conquer Earth. This was shocking because the Phylixians had never made such a promise before. In 3,000 years of expansion, they had never met a species they chose not to subjugate. When asked why, Admiral Wiskirian gave a long speech to her High Council. Marcus watched the recording later. It changed how he saw everything. "These humans are not like other species," the Admiral had told her leaders. "They are not stronger than us. They are not smarter than us. Their weapons are primitive. Their ships do not leave their own solar system. By all measurements, they should be easy to conquer." The council members had nodded. They were all old Phylixians with gray fur and many medals. "But they have something we do not understand," the Admiral continued. "They bond with each other in ways that make no logical sense. They form connections across every boundary. They fight for strangers they have never met. They create stories to share emotions they cannot express otherwise." She had paused, collecting her thoughts. "When we took one of them, their entire species united. Countries that had been enemies for centuries became allies overnight. They pointed every weapon they had at us. Not because Marcus Chen was important or powerful. He is neither. They did it because he was theirs. Because humans do not abandon their own." The Admiral's voice had become quieter. "We Phylixians are proud of our strength. We are proud of our conquests. But what these humans have is something we cannot conquer. It is not in their weapons or their technology. It is in their hearts. And if we try to fight that, we will lose. Not the battle. We would win every battle. But we would lose something more important. We would lose the chance to learn from them." The High Council had argued for days. But in the end, they agreed. Humans were too strange to conquer. They were too valuable as friends. The treaty was signed on both Earth and the Felixian homeworld. Humanity gained access to advanced alien technology. They learned about faster-than-light travel and clean energy and medicine that could cure diseases. They had fought for centuries. In return, humanity shared something the Felixians had never had: stories. Millions of movies and books and songs flowed to the Felixian Empire. They watched everything. They read everything. Romantic comedies became wildly popular among Felixian soldiers. War movies were studied in their military academies, not for tactics, but for the human spirit they showed. Love songs played on every Felixian colony. The cats were a separate matter entirely. Felixians made pilgrimages to Earth just to see house cats in person. They found it deeply spiritual. The humans had invited the lesser cousins into their homes and lives. Cat cafes became the most popular tourist destinations for alien visitors. Felixian nobles paid enormous sums for the chance to pet a sleeping kitten. Marcus became famous across both species. He did not want to be famous. He just wanted to go back to his normal life. But that was impossible now. He had accidentally started first contact with an alien civilization. His face was known on 47 star systems. He still worked as an accountant. He refused to give that up. It was the one normal thing he had left. But now he also served as a cultural ambassador, helping Felixians understand human customs and helping humans understand Felixian society. And through it all, Admiral Whiskerian kept messaging him. At first, it was about official business. Questions about human behavior. Requests for movie recommendations. Discussions about the treaty. But slowly the messages became more personal. She told him about her childhood. She told him about the pressure of leading an armada. She told him about her dreams and fears and hopes. She asked about his family and his friends and his favorite foods. They were talking. Really talking. Like two people getting to know each other. 1 year after first contact, Marcus received a message that made him laugh. The algorithm maintains our 99% compatibility rating. I have researched human courtship customs extensively. I have watched 200 romantic comedies and read 100 books about human relationships. I believe I now understand the proper procedure. There was a pause. Then another message. Would you like to get coffee? Marcus stared at his phone for a long time. He thought about everything that had happened. The ship appearing above his apartment. The strange dinner on the flagship. The movies and the memes and the treaty that changed the world. He thought about how she made him feel. Not scared anymore. Not confused. Just interested. Curious. Happy when she messaged him. He typed back, "Sure, but you are buying." Her response came immediately. "Acceptable. I will arrive in 17 minutes. Marcus looked out his window. The sky was clear today, but he knew that somewhere up there, a very powerful space cat was preparing for a coffee date. The wedding happened 2 years later. It was broadcast across 48 star systems. The guest list included heads of state from every country on Earth and noble families from every Felixian colony. Marcus wore a simple suit. The Admiral wore her ceremonial armor, freshly polished. Humanity's gift to the Felixian Empire was a lifetime subscription to every streaming service on Earth. The High Council declared it the most valuable peace offering in galactic history. At the reception, a reporter asked Marcus how he felt about everything that had happened. About being the most famous human in the galaxy. About marrying an alien admiral. About changing history with a single word. Marcus thought about it for a moment. "I just said hi," he finally answered. Everything else was just talking, getting to know each other, finding common ground. That is all any relationship is really, human or Felixian. It starts with hello. Admiral Whiskerian appeared beside him. She had removed her armor and changed into a simple dress. She looked almost normal, if you ignored the fur and the ears and the tail. "The algorithm was correct," she said, taking his hand. 99% compatibility. "Perhaps it should be higher now." Marcus smiled. "I think you might be right." Somewhere across the galaxy, in a Felixian computer center, the matching algorithm registered their updated status, 100% perfect match.